Hey, it's AT time. My name is Ron Friedman, and today on Animation Trainers, we're going to continue with part 2 in a new series here called My Animation Journey, in which I will be speaking in detail about what made me want to become an animator in the first place and how I got to where I am today. And to make sure that you don't miss any of the upcoming videos in this series or any of the other videos that we post here on Animation Trainers, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and switch the notification bell to all. As I mentioned in the first video in this series, which you can watch by clicking here in case you missed it, I was not a good enough draftsman to get into the animation program at the California Institute of the Arts in Valencia, California. And since this was 1991 and predated the internet and online education options, I wasn't exactly sure what my next step would be. But then, as luck would have it, it turned out I was living just down the street from the headquarters of the Motion Picture Screen Cartoonists, Union Local 839, now known as the Animation Guild. And as more luck would have it, they offered classes in the evenings at the offices, taught by working professionals looking to make a little extra scratch. And so I signed up for the 2 classes they required you to complete prior to taking any other classes in their program: Introduction to the Art and the Industry, and Basic Animation Mechanics, both taught by Bud Hester. And I will never forget the first thing Bud Hester said in that first class, Introduction to the Art and the Industry. Keep in mind, this is after the success of The Little Mermaid, and Beauty and the Beast is on the horizon, so it's a time of excitement regarding the Walt Disney Company. This was pre-Pixar. The first thing out of Bud Hester's mouth that day was, "Who here wants to work for Disney?" The majority of the hands in that class went up. Mine was one of them. Would your hand have been up there too, right there with me? If so, let me know in the comments below. Remember, all the cool kids comment. Bud then asked, who here would be willing to work for them for free? More than a few hands remained in the air, and Bud's response was, and that, dear friends, is exactly the mentality that we need to work against. He then proceeded to explain that this industry is a business, and while this may be an entertaining business to work in, it is still a business that is focused on doing well financially and selling its product. And for that reason, it is necessary for an artist to protect their own interests, because an employer will not necessarily have the artist's best interest at heart. And that the union exists because it is a collective of artists bargaining as a group for the sake of solidarity, protecting their well-being, and having a voice in the workplace beyond just creating content for their employer. The Basic Animation Mechanics class focused on covering information such as the number of frames per second in film, how a timing chart works, and other general animation information regarding 2D hand-drawn animation procedure. I then moved on to taking an in-betweening class with a kind older gentleman by the name of Dale Oliver. Dale is actually mentioned by name in Disney animation The Illusion of Life by Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston, alongside some cleanup animation he did of Mowgli from the Jungle Book getting punched on the chin by Baloo the bear. That class is where I learned how to flip animation paper to do an in-between, with your current drawing on the top and your 2 target key poses beneath that top drawing, and flipping the paper back and forth to see them in a bottom-top-middle progression. This bar back here behind me is from the animation desk that my mom bought me in order to support the launch of my career. As you can see, it has the round and rectangular peg bars used to keep paper registered to each other and the drawing disc or table. Another of the classes I took at the American Animation Institute, which is what they called the education program there at the union offices, was life drawing, led by an instructor by the name of Glenn Vilpu, who I later came to find out was also a life drawing instructor at California Institute of the Arts in Valencia, California. And so in a way, I was kind of sort of getting that education after all, one could say. Shortly after starting those classes, I put a bumper sticker on the back of my car that said, "Animators do it for the sell of it." And that bumper sticker was the catalyst that led to a huge opportunity in my career, which I will talk about in greater detail in the next video of this series. And so to make sure you don't miss that video or any of the other videos that we post here on Animation Trainers, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and switch that bell. And would you like to have a private session with me where we can discuss how to improve your animation skills working with me directly one-on-one? Then please visit our website at animationtrainers.com and schedule a session with me. My name is Ron Friedman, and I hope that we will see you for our next video here at Animation Trainers. In the meantime, keep it moving.